Hello, people. Welcome back to our second episode of Fabled Talks Podcast. And this is your host, Along Phom.
And Abhilash Singh.
Yes. So, it's Saturday night, and we are here in a place where we record our. we cannot disclose our.
We cannot disclose, but it's a place of work.
Yeah. So, we are here recording.
Until our boss finds out.
Mm-hmm. And what's your plan for the weekends? I mean, it's already weekend, but so what you are planning to do on Sundays?
I am working tomorrow.
Okay.
What are your plans for the weekend? Because I don't have a weekend this week.
I don't know. Yes, tomorrow I'm planning to, visit a friend.
All right.
And also I have to attend a event. It's related to some college event, so
okay.
I will just be part of that event, since some friends who are part of the event have invited me, so I just show up. And that's what my plan is for tomorrow and for the weekend.
Oh man, our weekends go away so fast. What am I doing? I'm working and...
Do you think our life is boring?
Damn. Sometimes.
In a certain way.
Sometimes when you think too much about it.
Yeah, when you think about it. Anything you think about too much about it, then of course you ask lots of questions.
Yeah.
And then whenever you don't have answers for those questions, then you think that, okay, something's
wrong.
Sometimes I think it's better not to question too much.
Yeah, man, just keep going with the flow. Like whatever is happening is happening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So tomorrow, weekends. Tomorrow I'm working in the first half, and in the second half I'm meeting you, and that is it.
Okay. Tomorrow we are planning for a meetup.
We're probably gonna end up recording another episode.
Yeah, probably. And the thing is that tomorrow we are hosting at my place for some dinner, and just friends and colleagues get together.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have some good food, catch up, apart from talking about all this work and all this.
An escape.
Yeah, it's a kind of escape, and also like a bonding between the colleagues and.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I think it will be a nice time. What do you think?
Yeah, it is. I think very much important. Whether you're working in a team in an office, or like you're working with somebody on like a creative level, like we are. So I think it's important to leave work for a day and just we hang out anyways. Like we get to meet each other anyways. Like except for work and everything, we should meet every once in a while outside. Yeah. Without having to worry about anything.
Yeah, without having to worry about the things that we have to put it up. We have to most of the time we are just being worried about.
We have to post and publish and all that.
So that's the kind of things we do. But I think every now and then, just being a normal, young people meeting up over some drinks and some good food.
Young people, okay.
Very much necessary. What do you think? I'm old?
It is.
We're all young.
No, I mean, let's say
we'll the young.
Let's say we are young. Okay. What else?
I think lots been going out around. I mean, here lots been happening around the region, because we usually try to talk about the region as well.
Yeah.
Lots been going around.
So what else caught your attention?
I mean, what? Okay. What caught me attention was this week was surprising was what happened with the AIFF.
All
India Football Federation president elections.
Yes.
So we are Kalyan Chaube, who is representing. He's a BJP politician, and also we have our guy from Northeast.
Bhaichung Bhutia.
Yeah, one and only Bhaichung Bhutia. So I just thought,
it'll be at least fair.
It will be a fair fight, and it will be a tough fight between. But then apparently, when the results came out, it was very disappointing. Everything was, politics is always involved. So it's kind of, it was a disappointing week. just like getting the news.
Yeah.
Everybody was supporting the fans in India, people who love football, across the states, from all over India. They were like rooting for I think most of them. We did poll on different social media platforms, and we have been running polls from last week.
Okay.
And we have noticed that people were voting for, like a general public were voting for, mostly for Bhaichung Bhutia, but then
the internal politics.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, how do you say, like in every field, in every
that's what
fight.
Kalyan said after, I think he said after the election, when the result came out, and then some reporter asked, like, what do you think, why that, it was not a fair election?
Yeah.
And then he answered, like, tell me any organization where politics are not involved.
Yeah, that is very true.
It's kind of true. It's kind of sad, but it's true.
It's a reality.
Yeah,
now.
it's a reality. That's what we have to live with.
Yeah.
Be it religion, be it anything. Any
anything.
organization, be it business. There's always politics.
Yeah, it is true that Bhaichung Bhutia winning would have been a win for football. In like Indian football, it would have been a win for Indian football, because like we saw recently, even the ban by FIFA, that it's obviously because of management of the AIFF, right?
Of course.
So if somebody who was actually an athlete and who actually loves the sport, who actually loves the sport,
who wants to promote the sport,
who wants to help the athletes, up and coming athletes, if somebody like that won, it would have been a win. But what can we do?
Yeah, we're just some
random blokes.
Yeah, random blokes, powerless people shouting, ranting.
Not even shouting, which is we're
shouting,
very calm,
ranting,
but it's like
it's a
this message needs to be heard. This
Yeah.
thing needs to be heard. So it's important to speak on it rather than not. What else do we have?
There are lots of things happening. I don't know.
One thing that caught my attention was this American Indian racially abusing another American Indian, I think.
Yes. Man.
Which to think about it is very much like...
I mean, like few years back, we had so much case in Australia.
Yeah.
Where Indians were being, subjected to racism.
Yeah.
But I think now lots of cases are coming from, incidents are coming from US. It's sad, but also I think it's everywhere. It's rooted.
Yeah, it is true.
Because like when we, coming from a place where we face racism once we are out from this region, or when we go to mainland India. So I mean,
have you ever faced?
Yeah, obviously during our college days, man, there was lots of incidents during our college days. It was so funny, most of the guys college, the funny incident was I was very popular in my first semester.
Okay.
Everyone thought that I was an international student.
Oh my God.
And everyone wanted to take a picture with me.
Damn.
So that maybe almost a month or two. So I used to after class I had to take pictures with them. Yeah, I know it's funny.
Man. But we see that thing, if a Caucasian man comes here, everybody will be crowding around that person.
And then taking pictures, taking selfies. And all. So that's what happened with me during my college years. And then most of the people would ask where are you from? Which country are you from? I would say I'm from Northeast. Why do I have to explain that I'm in India? Yeah. I just want to test their general knowledge. So I would just say I'm from Nagaland or I'm from Northeast India. Then they would ask, where is this place? Somebody even asked, is it near? I said I'm from Nagaland. And since the Nagaland in England rhymes, he said, is it near England?
Damn.
Then I couldn't help it, and I couldn't explain more than that. So I just said, yes, it's near England.
Oh my God.
And that's how we look like English people, and then we talk like English people.
I don't know if that person has ever seen a Brit.
And then the other time, there were incident where we were being called like chinky, chow momo,
that
all
we
these
keep
things like
hearing.
very. At the end of my, like studies, my university, like studies, I almost felt like it was. I felt comfortable with those words, which I shouldn't be, but then you keep on hearing every now and then you get comfortable with those words. So, but then I feel, when it comes to all these things, there's a lot of, part of people who are very ignorant about these things.
About race and...
Yeah, about racism.
Yeah, it is.
It's, we can't even blame, the other party or, people from mainland India, people from North India or South India for not knowing where our region is. Because most of the time we end up, maybe there are like certain percentage of people or certain percentage of population who knows or who are educated, who have been taught, or who try to read news from across the world, or who try to expand their knowledge. So they know about the geography, the places or the culture in entire country. But then there are this section of people, be it in North India, be it in South India, or be it in East or Northeast India, wherever it is. There's this certain section of people who are very ignorant. They just want to focus on what they want to do. Especially those things happen in rural. I know I'm not stereotyping or saying labeling anything like that, but then usually the rural, population, mostly they tend to be very ignorant about those things. So you tend to get these comments from, in rural places more than the cities and all. And of course, in some places, in cities also, you will find like few incidents that happen. But then
I think it all rolls back to the education and the general knowledge that has been impaired on these
definitely
people.
At the end of the way, that's what I try to think about, like where it come from, why are people so ignorant. It definitely had to come from for example, like nobody knows about all these freedom fighters, like Lajit Borpokon in Assam, but like since we were like in grade 7, 8, we studied like about Bhagat Singh. Like all this
mainstream freedom fighters.
All this like mainstream, all this Mama Kandi, all those things, like that's already being taught. It's already been included in the subject. It's like compulsory. You have to memorize their names. You have to memorize the date, where they were, when they died, when they were born, whose wife, like like whatever it is. We have to memorize everything. It becomes a compulsory thing, and then after that only we get like grade, or we get
pass the class.
We pass the class, or we are promoted to the next class. But then you don't find all this history or all this all these freedom fighters about Northeast. So so when it comes to education, there's so much like perspective, or maybe a history, whatever it is, about Northeast, very less. So it's not a surprise that when people from other state who have not studied or who have not even heard about like people from Northeast to be like racist, it's kind of ignorance. It's kind of lack in our education system as well. So even after 75, 76 years of independence, one thing we are still lacking is that we have failed to be very inclusive when it comes to culture or history culture, or like being like, I have seen many people complaining on social media, or like about Northeast not being mentioned in national anthem. Right? Like where do you find any line you read? It's all about. There's word like Yamuna, Ganga, and then we exclude Brahmaputra.
One of the most prominent.
Most of the most prominent. Comes all the way from Tibet, all the way from and one of the longest
flowing rivers.
Yes, in the world. So it comes to that. I think it's high time the government or even the people has to. There was like last year there was this protest happening on Twitter, like Northeast matters.
To include our chapters in.
I think
but also this thing, I believe that this thing can also be improved from like this, just conversation, from by people who like have read about it or know about it, and they can just educate your friends, about like where we come from and our entire history and culture. If you know about it, not any wrong information or nothing. If it's true and if you've learned about it, then you should also like let everyone that is interested in knowing or is curious about our entire country. They can be spread through conversation also.
Yes, but you see, over the years there's been lots of like intellectuals and researchers and prominent people from Northeast who have talked about this issue a lot, who have even written lots of articles in international media or in international platform. But then there's so less that has happened, so less changes happen, or it's very less action that we can see from the central government or from people.
That is true.
Who actually talk about.
But what I'm saying is like that what you're talking about is on a very like a large scale, and it's like appealing to a very small amount of people. Like will actually go and listen to a lecture or turn on a lecture on YouTube, whatever it is. I'm saying that it's like on a very personal level. I suppose
grassroots level.
If you are from Northeast or you are educated on Northeast, and I'm somebody who just wants to know or doesn't know or is wrong about something and is like putting my opinion out and it's wrong, then you just go to your friend and like on a very personal level educate them without like berating them publicly.
And to be very frank about Northeast and knowledge about Northeast and all, Northeast is so diverse. It's almost like another country, you can even...
We talked about this in the last podcast. There's so much to explore.
Yeah, so much to explore. It's so diverse. So being from Northeast and like me trying to explain Northeast doesn't justify what I know about Northeast. Like every time I visit a new place or new state which I have not visited, even in my own state, Nagaland, if I visit some other district or maybe I find like very different culture, very different food or very different lifestyle, like, so even in small geography or even in small state, we find like it's so diverse. So that's what, when we try to explain Northeast, we don't justify explaining Northeast, what Northeast is. What Northeast is when somebody asks like, tell me about Northeast. How can you explain Northeast? It's so huge. It's so big. I would say like, I don't even know like most of it. Let me explore and then I'll come back and let you know.
I'm from Northeast, but I've yet to know about it.
And the thing about why it's difficult, is that most of these facts or the history about Northeast, you can't find it online. It's difficult. You will find few things like very common things and all, but
or even books.
Yeah,
books, most of it is lost.
See, that's what when try to question like why are this, like these histories are not there. Whenever we try to make content on some tribe or some festivals of Northeast, when we try to educate, like other people from other region of the country. So what we found was that we find very less information about that, about like culture of Northeast, about anything, any information regarding Northeast. One of the thing is that most of the Northeast like people are tribal people.
Yeah.
And in tribal culture, anywhere around the world, this knowledge is passed down through oral,
word of mouth.
Through word of mouth. We don't have script. So since you don't have script, how do we, like make it into something? Somebody has to translate huge amount of knowledge.
Even if the past generation.
And when it's oral, even the fact get twisted. Like your opinion would be different from somebody's opinion. Your history, you heard from your grandpa. I heard the same story from my grandpa. Like then it would be different. Like sometimes it might conflict.
Yeah, the history is being paraphrased through generations.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what it's all about. Sometimes. So one thing about like when the mainstream media, they would have like correspondent for Northeast. Like one correspondent for Northeast. I feel sad for them. I feel so sad for all these correspondents from
single person handling the
entire Northeast.
The amount of pressure on that.
You just think like you just take entire Northeast as one region. Yeah. It's such a wrong thing to do that. Even from like people, I'm just repeating what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Even if like I'm from Nagaland, I know very less about the other parts of Nagaland. Same it will be with the other, like all these reporters who are from Assam. Assam is a very vast state, like even be it with like in terms of land or in terms of population. It's a huge state.
Also, even in Assam, there are like people from all the different states of Northeast, and they have their own small communities in every region.
So it's a very complex region that I would say. It's very complex. It's very diverse, very interesting, and that's what I love about Northeast. And I'm happy that I'm here. I was born in Northeast.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, despite all our challenges and despite all the difficulties that we have to go through, I think
despite how much we are lacking.
Yeah, but I think things are looking better.
The only way you can go is up.
Yeah.
The only way you can go is up.
Thing that we can do is like go forward. We can't just be go forward.
Yeah. True.
We can't just be complaining on the issues and not finding solutions and then be stuck in places and then we just be circling in a loop.
Yeah.
So I think things are looking better. Let's just try to be a little bit optimistic about all these things. I think we have talked a lot about Northeast.
We have to, man.
I always feel like I'm an expert of Northeast now. After saying for such a long about Northeast. By the way, it's just the opinion that I shared. Of course, we always share our opinion. Like we always say, we still try to explore things that we have not explored or the thoughts that we have not explored through the podcast, through the discussion we have, through the talks that we do in coming days with different guests maybe or even between me and Abhilash. We just try to
and even if we're making mistake, we are learning from it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just go look back and we will just listen to this podcast again and just say, okay, let's not try to do this.
Let's not try to
maybe
do this.
Like it sounds cringy, like don't do that, like just like that's the part of life.
I don't think cringe is like for me at least. Cringe is not like something that I worry about. I worry about saying something factually wrong on the podcast.
It always happens, but it's so difficult to get everything 100% factually right.
Yeah, that is true.
It's so difficult. Even for that matter, I would definitely say because science is all about like getting facts right. There has to be solution, there has to be result. But imagine all this science experiment that has also evolved as the time goes by. There's change, there are lots of formulas has been changed. And all these science discoveries that has happened, they had to rectify even something like science, a subject like science where the result has to be like 100% proof or 99.9% proof gets things wrong.
Gets things wrong. So who are we?
We're just some
who are we?
Fucked out nobody. So I think we just see the whole point, like you always said, just going like don't give up, just keep going up. Learn from your mistakes. Learn from your stupid things that you say and then keep going forward. That should be the rule.
Growth. That's what you should always like be aiming for. Like even when, you know, like past a few months back, I was in a slump. So,
Yeah.
So that if I would have been, like if I had convinced myself that is where I belong and there's no way I can get out of it and no way I can feel better or whatever it is. So like being very honest, I might not be alive today.
This is a serious talk.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a very serious talk.
It is, but it's good to, like, I've learned not to take shit too seriously and too to the heart. I'm a very emotional guy.
Same here with me.
So sometimes sometimes things do get overwhelming, but that's like you learn. Also, I'm very young, so I'm still.
It's a process.
Learning my feelings, but like trying to understand how I feel and why I feel and all that jazz. So,
and definitely that's what I've been feeling, like for over like last 4 or 5 years, trying to find answers to every problems that I have.
Yeah, which is not always possible.
Not always possible. 100% not possible. And then we have to live with that.
Yeah.
But then the trick is just keep on going forward. Like just don't get stuck there.
Yeah, true.
So
get help if you need help ever.
Yes.
If you feel like you're not okay, or if you feel like you want to talk to someone, you should always reach out.
Especially in our generation, young people nowadays, we feel lots of people with mental issues and all.
True.
When I was growing up, like when we were growing up, we would hardly hear people having that kind of mental issues, like depression, anxiety, PTSD.
It is.
It's like, it's a kind of term that we usually watch in Hollywood movies. Like,
yeah, it is.
I'm not lying, but now you find people, like our close friends, like even you had to go through. I have my cousin who is still having problem, who's trying to recover from, like anxiety, depression. So I think it has lots to do with internet, with information, or the things that we get.
The good kind of information that we get. Yeah.
So that's what it is. The good side and bad side of internet and social media. But also,
even if like we talk about it, like in our country, most of us are still living with our parents, and when something like that is on your plate, you have to discuss with your parents, right?
Yeah.
So even like my parents are pretty chill, like they allow me for anything. But when I told my mom about like talking to a therapist and all, even she was like, just go out and go out for a trip or something and you'll feel better. But I couldn't tell my mom that the problem is there is no one to go out on a trip with, and that's why I'm feeling like this. And sometimes that those things become hard to explain. But yeah, it's because like our mom and dad were never treated that way, their mental health was their mental health was never a point of concern for our grandparents.
I think like if you have to look back, like during our parents and our like grandparents and in their time, they had more time for people, they had more time for each other. I mean, nobody was distracted. Nobody goes to a restaurant and then everyone start on their phone and then
that is so true.
You go out for a family dinner. It's like the meme, everywhere.
So
lots of meme, You go out for family dinner because you have not been meeting each other. Kids has to go to school. I mean, I'm just thinking
we have
example
lots of concept
of
of family dinner, no?
Yeah, and then somebody like like there was lots of things, like there was more people were more cultured. And
there was more of a community back then.
Yeah, more community, more cultured, more community. So there was this always connection. So you are never left alone, or you're never isolated.
Yeah.
There's always like people telling you things, or you are telling someone things. Like there's always this connection. You don't have time to like question your life, or like be sad or because you're alone, not doing anything, or there's not that we don't have that like during the time there was no time where, like where you have to be alone and think about you compare your life with others, somebody else, because you see on social media.
Also, even if someone back then did feel like that, they didn't have the term depression for it. They didn't know what they were feeling actually. They couldn't explain it and communicate. So even if somebody was feeling, even if my dad or my mom did feel something, they might have just bottled it inside, and they still might have that shit inside, you know. They still might carry it inside.
Yeah, I think I'm sure there were some cases even during their time, but
obviously every human being goes to something or the other, man.
Yes, but nowadays it becomes very rampant, and then it becomes like I mean, it's, you know, you find like lots of people that you know, like among your friend circle or in your family, that people have been going through all this depression, anxiety. It's kind of hard as well, and it's, of course, it's a disease, so it can get to any one of us.
True.
It can happen to any one of us anytime. So
and I think it happens to most of us who don't expect it. Like I never thought I'd be.
I had friends whom I have lost to suicide.
I'm sorry.
And those people were the guys, like, who I thought that, you know, like, with the last one to, you know, kill themselves or, you know, like, try to take that action. So even during the time, you know, like most of our friends, we were still in high school, and like high school student taking all these steps, you know, is a huge step someone has to take, right?
Yeah.
And we have never heard of it. We have never heard of it, like, you know, our elders or, you know, our parents, you know, we have never heard of, you know, people like suicide, like when they are in like early teens or thing like that. But then to experience that with your friends or with your classmate, it was like something very shocking, or, you know, like it was very surprising for most of our friends, and it left huge amount of, you know, like that void, like with no answers. So I think, man, it's crazy times in terms of many ways.
Crazy times. It's like all the people we meet along the way, all the friends we make, like it's very natural to lose touch with people. I think every once in a while we should just check up on everyone we care about, you know, just for the sake of it, for no reason at all.
Good advice.
Just no reason at all. Just drop a text, man. My phone has been dry for like how many months. Bitches, drop me a text if you're listening to this podcast.
Well, I think we should run a campaign.
Text me first campaign.
Text me first campaign, no? Don't wait for me or something like that. Yeah.
But I've become, I won't brag about it, but I feel like I've become very good at like reading that now. Okay. And I always make sure to like talk to them. At least like, even if you make someone going through some shit feel like you're there, even from far away, if you can make them feel like you're there, that's the inch of hope by which they hang on to. So hope is a very important thing for human beings, and we should keep hoping. We should not lose hope ever on anything.
Exactly. So talking about this hope and all these mental things and all, you know, I just remembered one thing, like, you know, after my college, I got a like invitation from a friend when I was in Kohima. You know, they said that there's some kind of gathering with random strangers. Okay. You'll get together, and then all these strangers, these young strangers, you'll talk about your failures. Okay. Not about success, because everybody likes to talk about brag and talk about success, right?
Yeah, true.
So, but then nobody talks about failures. And then the young people, you know, as you grow, as you try to learn, as you try to build up your career or you build up your status, whatever it is, we tend to fail a lot, and that's what life it is. You know, like you have fail, you learn, you know, learn from your failures, and correct it, and then you go another step. So that was one of the event that I really thought, I should attend. So what happened was, we said, I think there was another around 10 people, probably 10 people. So we met at this very cozy cafe, and then so what we did was we sat around a circle in a table, and then the host there said that everybody can speak in turns about your failures, about your problems in your family, or whatever it is about in your life, anything like shit happening in your life. So I thought I want to share my story, but I thought my story would be so sad, and would be so much of difficulties. I thought I will do the closing.
Okay.
So what I was thinking that, and then I was sitting at the last, then the sharing thing started. One by one, people are sharing their stories and all. And then the time that you're hearing their stories, then you get to learn that your story is nothing compared to
man.
People are facing child abuse, all those things, losing their parents when they were very young, losing their mom, losing their dad, all this trauma that they have when they were kid. Some girls that face sexual assault when they were a kid. So all these things, and they were actually genuinely sharing, or openly sharing, and we were all strangers. We have never met before this event, before this gathering. And then by the time you hear some of the stories, everyone was crying, everyone was tearing. And then I was thinking that my stories was the worst stories, saddest stories that I could share. So, and then I said that I'll share in the last. And by the time it was my turn, I thought my story is the
least. It is actually a thing, no?
That was what I learned. The moral of the story is that we take too much pressure on what's going on in our life, not thinking that the next person is having double or triple or 10 times, 100 times having worse day. When we, if something goes wrong in our life, we think that, it's happening only to me. Why it's happening to me only? It's not fair. And we started comparing with somebody you see, your friends posting something on social media, and then you just feel I'm having, that I'm the worst. I can't do anything, and then you demotivate yourself, but then you have to remember as well that there are thousands and millions and people that who is going worse experience right now at this moment than yourself. So
I think that I mindset, that idea goes away once you accept, and once you can openly say accept how privileged you are. I think that goes away then, until because
acceptance, be it worse or good times, the acceptance is very important. How you accept it. When it's sometimes fighting it off doesn't help. When there is a problem, we always try to find solutions to that problem. We always try to fight it off. You always try to correct it. But or you just have to accept it.
Or just deny it completely and move over it.
That's what something I should have learned at very young age. If somebody has given me that advice.
That is true. I think I saw a quote somewhere whatever you're learning late in your life, teach your kids early.
If I have ever kids, so.
Why are you so doubtful, man? Of course you'll have kids. You'll have beautiful kids.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, life is uncertain.
That is true. We can always adopt. I want to adopt a kid. Even if I have my own kids, I want to adopt at least one.
It's good if you are taking from right source. Not from illegal.
Dude, come on, please. Bleach. No such accusations.
Man, because day before yesterday I was watching this video
The
on
train station video? Yeah, man.
and there's like it apparently happened to be that BJP
weird,
leader.
Man. Yeah, the kid was found in some BJP leader's house. And people are so weird, man. And no remorse at all. Just come right up and pick a baby. Now that I think about it, we also do the same thing with puppies, no?
With puppies.
We just go and then separate him from the mothers.
Parents and just say, you know, man.
Who is psychopath?
This is call out to people who love animal as well.
I have a pet,
Eventually
man.
they have
It's
to
not
say
a call out. I have a pet. It's not a call out.
It happens to me. So like, my mom, so she takes care of, she takes care of lots of like animals at home.
Okay.
We have, like dog, cats, chickens, everything. She take care of that.
Okay.
In my small town. But like she always had that soft feeling for those animals. Obviously chickens we rear chickens so that we can have some soup, good soup.
Yeah.
When we are not feeling that well, right?
Yeah,
Local
true.
chickens are meant to be
like a remedy for illness.
Yeah, remedy for your whatever thing is. I don't know if it's scientifically correct or whatever it is. But then one time I went and then it was a long journey. I have to travel back home.
Okay.
My mom said, you can have a soup. Then I said, okay. So mom said, like, there's one chicken there. You can just get a chicken from the coop. Chicken coop, right?
Chicken coop, yeah.
So just take the chicken out and then, like you slaughter the chicken. And then me being me, who always buys from the market like which is already killed and which is already chopped. So I was having hard time to, like kill the chicken.
Yeah.
So I was trying multiple times. But then I couldn't. Actually, I couldn't. City life has spoiled me, actually. Then
it's not city life. It's if you grew up doing that shit. If you were a hunter from,
that's what in rural, especially if you go to villages, if you go to rural areas, small towns, you don't find like where shops that you can go and straight buy off your meat or where you can buy off your milk like that. You have to rear it yourself.
Yeah.
Everything has to be locally sourced, like that. No, there's not much of farms or like private companies coming and selling in huge amount or all this. Doesn't happen much. So me being me, coming back to this story, I couldn't, and then I told my mom, no, you do it. And then my mom, I thought she will say, okay, I'll do it, because I thought that she's so used to this. And she, what she replied was, how can I do it, I saw them growing up when they were like,
That is so true. That sentiment that she has.
Yeah, when the chicken was just a chick from the egg, it got hatched. She said, I have seen it grow. How can I do it? I was like, then I think we're not having like chicken, and she went and she did it. But she still did it for my sake.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think for
did you
most
ever go hunting? Have you gone hunting?
I have been to like hunting, but I followed hunters.
Okay.
Not, not something that I have to go for hunting and I take.
No, it's a community thing. No, you all go together, I think.
Yeah, we all go together. So there is season when you can hunt.
Okay.
I don't know if it's right place to share.
It's Nagaland, man. It's fair play. Go ahead.
Yeah, in Nagaland it's a fair play.
It's fair game, man. Go ahead.
You make your own rules.
No, let's not go that far.
Okay, anyway. So
it's fine. Go ahead.
It's a community thing, and every now and then people go for hunting. So I accompanied with few hunters in my village, and it happens during certain season. People don't go like hunting in like entire year. There are some seasons where you can hunt.
Are there specific animals that you guys hunt?
There are some specific animals which are, native to the place or native to the thing. But most of the time you hunt small, like wildcats and
Okay.
yeah, and then what you call wild rooster, all this.
Turkey, I think.
Not
turkey.
It's jungle murki, we call it. No, it's like
the black one. The
no,
tall
you
black
find
one.
in different. You find in different color.
Okay.
There's like red one as well. There's like
which one?
I don't. There's one with black and white patch. Or something like. So there are like multiple.
I'll have to go look for it.
It looks like chicken only. It looks like murki chicken.
You can eat it basically.
Yeah, and it's tastier. Like they have like they have more flavor compared to all these local chickens or broilers that we buy from the market.
Do you think will we will ever be blessed with elk?
Elk, yeah, it's hyped up by Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
so
you know where that comes from, no? Yeah.
So I think I had like tastier than elk, but I've never had elk, so I cannot compare what like how it tastes like, or if it's better than all this wild meat that I had. I had multiple wild meat, deers, fox.
Damn.
And
what's the wildest thing you've had?
I had snake.
Anaconda.
Not anaconda. It was some small snake.
Is it a small snake or a like big fat beefy snake?
Not like beefy snake. It was a small snake.
Okay.
But it was not like tiny snake. It was like
medium girth.
Medium size. It almost tastes like a chicken. That was the one time that I had.
Okay.
I had eagle. I had porcupine. Porcupine is actually very tasty.
Okay.
And what? I told you about fox. Yeah, that's what I can remember.
Interesting.
Growing up, like in a remote place or things like that. It's not like we go and kill every now and then.
It's a fun thing, no?
One thing is that the forests are very tense, very challenging job, because the hunters out there are going with very basic equipments. It's not like that you see in other countries. We go with like a long range rifle with sniper scope and all these things. No, we don't go with that. Most of the hunters, they go with like either the muzzle loading guns or like
muskets,
normal muskets. Yeah, all these things they take it. I mean, that's local made. Most of the time are like local made.
It's old gear.
Yeah. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge for them as well.
Okay.
But I never thought like I would like hunt and all, but then every now and then I'm trying not to, get into this wild game. I mean, like not to even to consume.
Okay.
But then if you go home or if you go back to your town or to your native, then like the first thing that they will offer me, or like in like the way they show that
gratitude
or not, I mean, like because like I've been staying here, so we just meet once in a year. It's like some of my family, some of my relatives, right? So the first thing that they will offer me is if they have something wild animals, wild meat or thing like that, the first thing that they will offer me is that.
So it becomes
a cultural thing. So when it's a cultural thing, it's very difficult for me to like deny them, or like we start lecturing them and saying them about all this prospect. But every now and then I try to like tell them the downside of hunting and trying to kill.
Do you have
lots of animals.
Guilt? Or after going hunting?
I after hunting, because see, I'm not the one who is pulling the trigger, so.
Oh, okay. That plays a big role, yeah.
So I don't have that, that kill or that kind of feeling. When I eat, it's tasty, so I kind of forget.
When it's in your mouth,
I'm a tribal, so I think it's in my blood. Once you get the taste, so you tend to forget all this kill or all these feelings. So I think till the second episode has been fine. I mean,
yeah, man.
we give our best shot. It's not like we are, you know, planning a lot or taking too much pressure on what our content should go out like that. We're just being very chill, and then
very frank,
very frank, and then we're just talking very impromptu. You know, like, so I think we should definitely get it.
It is not a like up to date kind of thing. We're just randomly talking. It will become up to date after, like, when we have guests and all.
Yeah,
there will be more current things.
And also when people start listening.
Yeah,
so
obviously
we will get lots of feedback of what kind of content they want, or maybe we will get data of like what things work and what doesn't work for us. So probably we should be able to do more content on what
I mean, if
public interest.
If anyone likes the vibe, I think they'll stick around despite what we're talking about. I think most podcasts are like that, like you identify more with the person than with the content, I guess. It's
I also find like that, like when most of the time I get introduced of what kind of person I would, you know, when I listen to random podcasts, I would never, you know, like get what they are talking or what they are saying. But if I know someone from a background, or, you know, like, oh, they have a podcast, say a stand-up comedian or maybe a scientist or somebody started a podcast, since I already know them, an author, or, you know, somebody is, you know, since I already know them or the kind of people they are. I mean, not like personality level, not to the personal level, but then, you know, what they do, what kind of like career they are into. So you definitely tend to follow the person more than the content as well.
I also have like asked a couple of people, and they said that they like to just play the podcast and keep it running in the background while they do things around the house, or they're working an office. They just have it becomes like a subconscious thing. It just keeps playing in the background. It's just like so it's better if you're gonna do that, then it's better if it's a more of a conversation kind of thing instead of being more of an interview kind of thing, you know. So it becomes more casual. It becomes more accessible.
Definitely we should do that.
I mean, that is the vibe, bro. That is the vibe. It's all about vibes.
That is the vibe, and that's the vibe we need to get, and we need to give to all the other people who are listening to this podcast.
True.
And I think we'll definitely bring very interesting people. I think by next episode.
Also, we are pressuring ourselves a lot. Okay, we said this couple of times now. We're bringing interesting people. I don't want people to be underwhelmed by who comes up first. It's not when we say interesting people, it's not people with 15 million followers. That's not our definition of interesting. Our interesting might be like a few hundred followers and a great backstory,
or somebody who doesn't even have a social media. That's so interesting for me. I was like, first of all, why don't you even have like social media? Everybody is using social media. Like, how to keep updated? Where do you get your information from? You know,
in an age like this, especially.
How do you go from one place to another place?
How do you book an Uber, bro?
So I would love to meet those kind of people. In fact, that would be like very interesting people. So we'll definitely stay tuned to
Fabled Talks Podcast.
More episode that's coming.
Of course.
So I think we should wrap up for today.
Yep. Great episode. Thank you so much, Alon.
We enjoyed our talks.
Yep.
Even if people don't enjoy, I mean, at the end of the day, we should just enjoy whatever
we had a couple of interesting points. Like, even if you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, I'm sure we have added chapters, and you can just skip over to the entire part where we talk about the Northeast. And I think even if you don't want to listen to the entire podcast, you should listen to that part.
And I think certain chapters, like for example,
if you find anything interesting,
about
just go over that part.
Even about racism, or maybe the things that we have talked about, hunting culture and all. It's such a vast topic, you know.
True.
I mean, we can have an episode just talking on like hunting.
I'm gonna.
I mean, like not just about my tribe. I want to talk about all.
By the way, this part is going to get clickbaited. You know, it will read on YouTube as you hunt in Nagaland.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be
Dang.
clickbaited or not.
So we'll just look forward. We'll just keep going forward like we always been talking about.
Yes.
And then we'll try to give our best. We'll try to bring our best content.
We'll try not to offend you too much.
That we cannot promise.
We cannot. That's why we said we'll try to.
Yeah.
An emphasis on the try to.
Because your opinion would offend me, but see, you can offend me with your opinion. I can offend you with my opinion. But the thing is, you have to accept that it's my opinion and not take reaction or not react on these things. I have to accept it's your opinion and not to react or challenge that my opinion is greater than your opinion.
Yeah.
It's just
we
have to understand that.
We respect everyone's opinion. It's just that your opinion might not be right.
Okay. No, I think we should.
All right. We're wrapping up.
Okay. Thank you everyone for listening to this episode. We're coming back, and this is your host Along Phom,
and this is Abhilash Singh, and we'll catch you again on Fabled Talks Podcast.